I was raised in Iowa, which is where Vermeer is in Pella, Iowa. After I graduated from high school, I was working as a carpenter. Then I heard about Vermeer had this opening there for what they call a factory demo guy. At 18, I knew that Gary Vermeer traveled around the country and they paid for it. And that was all I needed to know, so I went out there. They said, you got to prove yourself. So I went to work for them in the welding room, which is the only opening they had, as a cleanup guy. Did that for like 6 months, and then they called me in and they wanted to put me out on the road as a demo man for the TM700 tree mover they had. So Gary Vermeer was actually the guy that did my training. 3 hours of training and they sent me off. That's basically how I got started. In that 2 years, I traveled a lot. I was in like 34 states and 3 provinces in Canada. I was on the move a lot. And then in 1967, Vermeer asked me to move out here to the East Coast in Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware to be the factory rep, working for the New Jersey dealership. And we had one distributor, which was Henry Meyer Company. And then Henry Meyer Company sold out to Ingersoll Rand. So Vermeer thought that would be a good time for them to start their own dealership here. So we each owned half of it. Vermeer owned 50%, and I owned 50%. I was just a young kid when I became an owner. I was like, 23 years old. Vermeer kind of eased me into it because they were, the partner in it. I learned a lot from them. You look back on it, it was a lot of responsibility, but the whole key to it is hiring good people. So that went on for like 7 years, and then they decided they wanted to get out of the ownership business, and I bought out their half. When we started, we were in Elkridge, Maryland, just a few miles north. But after I started, I think it was in '71, I thought that we needed a place in the Richmond, Virginia area. So I proceeded to rent a place down there and put a guy down there, and that was our first expansion. And then in the mid-'80s, it would have been in '85, I bought out the Carolina dealership, which was John Brantley owned that. He was retiring. And that encompassed North and South Carolina. So we expanded down there. That was in '85. In '86, I put our location into Raleigh. And then from there, we just kept expanding as we needed. So we ended up with 5 locations in the Carolinas, 2 in Virginia, Richmond and Manassas, and then the one in Annapolis Junction.
I first started buying equipment from Mid-Atlantic in 1972. We could depend on getting the parts and everything else, and back then we didn't really have too much of a stockpile of parts. We got them as we needed them. Many times John would bring them over himself. It worked out very well and continued on as he grew and we grew. John Voss was a very dependable, very responsible guy, and we came to be very good friends, and through that sometimes he could be very terrifying in more ways than one. But he always treated me with respect and very nice and helped me very much get started, which at that time I needed it. There was one particular time where I could make the payroll or I could pay John. And I called him and I asked him, I said, John, do you mind if I'm like a week or so late? Because, I would like to pay the payroll. He said, don't worry about it.
Going into the future, I have 2 sons working with us, and my hope that they can continue the relationship with Vermeer in the future.
And that's definitely my hope.
As time went on, down in the Carolinas, I had a partner down there who passed away, unfortunately. So then David Hand, who worked for me in Maryland, he moved down there and became a partner. And then Mark I met in 1991 when we needed an extra salesperson. Over the years, he just kept moving up to sales manager and then general manager here, and then he became in charge of Maryland and Virginia.
From the time I've been here, we're already established in the Carolinas through Delaware. The one thing we started to expand with John and David and myself was we started with a kickoff on the used equipment side. So we started to expand there, and then we started getting into buying used trucks and stretching trucks and starting to deliver an entire package to our customers, so it would be a one-stop shop. As John and David decided they wanted to move on and retire in life, I had to go find another partner to do this with or retire with them, and I wasn't in a position to retire, so I have a passion for the business. I wanted to focus on delivering the same message to our customers that we've built in our brand over the last 50 years. And the one person that stood out was Andy Franklin. And as a CEO of a corporation, he used to come and call me personally to try to earn our truck business. And his commitment to me was he would out-service them. I took him at his word, and we purchased some trucks and we started using their service, and he delivered. So when I went in to meet with Andy about this, he actually thought maybe I was having a truck issue, and I kind of blindsided him. I said, I need a partner. I told Andy about how great this organization was. It was like a family, it was a partnership. It's the best thing you'll ever run into. And it wasn't 30 days later, he realized it's from the dealers, from our suppliers, to the culture at Vermeer. It started with Gary. It's treating people the way they need to be treated. It's making sure that the priorities with the customers are there. The support after the sale is there. It's across the board. So through our transitions and integration of new companies, we were always Vermeer Mid-Atlantic, and Vermeer Mid-Atlantic didn't fit real well with PO Ohio. We had the conversation, but adding on Vermeer Northeast, it really does not relate well to the region. And our growth throughout our whole organization, the All Roads brand was something that we wanted to go down with the service at every turn, not with a region behind it, so that anything that we deliver to our customer is represented fairly. So as our customers travel, we want to make sure our customers know they're dealing with the same people, get delivering the same great service, and know who to get in contact with if there is an issue. The Pinnacle was special this year of being on our 50th anniversary, and primarily because it's a team effort. There's not one person in this organization. It's not my drive. It's not one. It's all. And having it this year on our 50th was special, and especially with the acquisitions and bringing the additional team members on. And Vermeer Northeast, a past Pinnacle Award winner as well. We look forward to continuing to reach the goals that we have in the past.